Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Good Vibes by Slang podcast. I'm your host, Shawnta Lang, aka Slang, and boy, do I have a full set for you today. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. Come on. And we're back on the set with the Good Vibes by Slang podcast. I'm your host, Shawnta Lang, aka Slang. And listen, this episode today is going to be full of entrepreneurs, influencers, financial advisors. We got it all. So stay tuned. Be ready for the set because the set is on fire. Okay. All right. So as always, I start the show with the affirmation. And the affirmation for this podcast today is, I have a purpose.
Amen.
You still like,
I love that.
You still like,
We're clocking
Hallelujah.
It. We're clocking it.
We're clocking. Look, is that what they call clock it?
Yes.
Clock it in. I have a purpose. And if you guys look at my shirt, I am wearing the shirt that says I have a purpose. So I'm going to shout out to the owner of Perfect Purpose Clothing Company. Sean Gilbert makes these shirts. His merchandise is Christian streetwear and apparel, and he makes these shirts. And I thought this was definitely fitting for today's show because each and every one of the guests today, they have a purpose, and we are all 100% in alignment today. So we're all here for a reason, and the reason is to celebrate these individuals, to give them credit for the things they do, and they're doing so much in the community. So, guys, I have like 7 bios to read, so please bear with me. Some of them are longer than others, so if I mess up, please charge it to my head and not my heart, because it's big words in there, and I'm trying to keep it together. Okay. All right, so we will start with our first guest, Jose Martinez.
Hey.
Jose Martinez is a faith-driven entrepreneur, strategist, and builder at heart. He started with nothing but grit and a vision and believed that he could create something bigger than himself. Over the years, he's turned that vision into Martinez Financial Group Strategies, LLC, a company that blends financial strategy, business development, and media to help people secure their futures. For Jose, business isn't just about profit. It's about purpose. My God. Look at God.
He had the cheat sheet.
Look. It is about purpose. Jose is committed to helping individuals and small businesses grow, manage their money wisely, and create lasting legacies. Every decision he makes is rooted in his value, his faith, and his mission to leave people better than where he found them. Outside of business, he invests his time in mentoring, building connections through the Den, and constantly pushing himself to think bigger, work smarter, and move with intention. His life is proof that you don't have to wait for the perfect time. You can start where you are with what you have, and you can build.
Hey.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Sitting next to a real life star.
Look,
Good stuff, brother. Holy man. There you
Jose,
go.
welcome to the show, sir. That was amazing.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, let me get into the
Did you
rest.
use AI or you did it yourself?
Most of it was myself.
Okay. I love it.
I love it.
AI is a beautiful thing.
It really
It'll
is.
tell you who you are.
Even better than what you
Right.
describe
And
it.
I love it.
Shout out to AI.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Our next guest is Kevin Knight.
Ooh, I know him.
You know him?
I think I heard of him.
All right there, Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is the visionary founder and CEO of Urban Events Global, a premier travel and lifestyle company curating unforgettable experiences for professionals, adventure-seeking African Americans. What began in 2011 as a small camping trip amongst friends has grown into an internationally recognized brand, producing sold-out festivals, group trips, and cultural events across the U.S. and abroad. Before launching Urban Events Global, Kevin built a successful 16-year career on Wall Street, working with some of the world's top financial institutes. In that high-stakes environment, he mastered strategic thinking, risk management, and relationship building skills that now power his ability to execute large-scale events and develop global partnerships. Raised in a military family, Kevin's early years took him from Germany to Louisiana, Texas, and South Carolina, instilling in him an appreciation for new cultures and human connection. That global perspective became the cornerstone of Urban Events Global, which now includes Urban Camp Weekend, Urban Excursions, and exclusive international adventures in destinations from Dubai to Zanzibar. Kevin has been featured in USA Today, BET, Travel New York, Boss Magazine, and other major outlets. Beyond business, he is committed to giving back through philanthropic efforts, offering scholarships, youth development initiatives, and community outreach. Balancing a fearless, adventurous spirit with sharp business acumen, Kevin continues to create spaces where people can explore, connect, and create culture, one unforgettable experience at a time. My God.
Wow.
Shout out to ChatGPT for helping me out last night.
Let's
Chat
go.
come through. That was amazing. Oh my gosh. We definitely
love a good chat.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. And let me keep going here. All right.
Everyone has a paragraph.
Not me.
Not me.
I didn't use
Okay.
ChatGPT.
I didn't submit a bio. I didn't know anything
I was in
about
and
it.
out.
I had chapter
okay.
one.
So
I can whenever,
Yeah. I just
I'll
typed
tell you a
something.
little bit
I
about myself.
submitted, but it's
I was
not
typing.
a bio.
He was like, you gotta resubmit your bio, and I was like,
in just
okay.
a second. All right, the next bio I have is our guest that is on his way, but I am going to introduce him to the show. We have Victor Lazardi.
Yes.
Is a Dallas-based filmmaker, content creator, and founder of Wild
Bite Films.
Wild Bite Films, LLC. Beyond the lens, Victor is a connector, passionate about bringing creatives together and helping them collaborate to reach their full potential. His work blends cinematic storytelling with the mission to inspire, uplift, and empower others in their life's purpose. Whether it's a short film, live event, or a viral TikTok, Victor's projects don't just capture the moment, they create a movement.
I think he hit the nail on the head.
And Victor will be here shortly.
Yes.
Okay. And let's see. So our other two guests, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. We have Miss Ferry that is on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hello, everybody. My name is Trap Fairy, but you could call me Fairy. If you're wondering where the name stems from, I am an artist. I'm also an entrepreneur. I just recently started a new venture of opening my own car rental fleet here in Dallas, Texas. This is the first time I've ever done something of this magnitude. I'm extremely nervous, but extremely grateful too for the opportunity. And I also do credit repair. So those are the two things that I do to make my money. But I love music, and I'm also building, generational things for my family through this. So that's where my heart is.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. And then our next gentleman, Mr. King.
Correct.
Give us your name and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So my name is King Ferdinand, and I'm the only crazy person to run around town with a crown on his head. So you can remember my name from here on out. So a little bit about myself. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, as I said earlier today. I was a cashier at a grocery store for my very first job, making announcements over the loudspeaker. And every job that I've had leading up to my last opportunity working for Microsoft, I was in leadership, moving up the ladder in corporate world. and just kind of got bored with going through the motions of working for someone else and decided to create my own reality and my own podcast. It's called Talking Just to Talk with King Ferdinand.
Okay.
And it's across all platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and just building a platform where I can practice effective communication and storytelling. Eventually, I want to get into public speaking. And the basis of the show is to celebrate artists and entrepreneurs and entertainers and celebrate their work. So very similar to this platform as well.
Awesome. I love that.
So just a little bit about me. Yes.
Welcome to the show, King. And I love
Thank
the
you.
crown.
Yes.
I love
It's
the
so
people-
fitting for
It
King.
is.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Okay. I love
Thank you
that.
for having me.
All right. And let's get into the bio of my next guest. One thing I do believe is that everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
And the reason why
Yes,
we're here,
ma'am.
God brought us all together. There's a message today in the story that we're going to share that's going to impact our viewers. So
Absolutely.
That's
I
right.
believe in that. Mr. Adam, I'm going to have you introduce yourself
Steph.
and tell the Good Vibe viewer about yourself. Give us your name, tell us about your business, and introduce yourself.
No problem, y'all. My name is Dooney Baria Tom. I'm actually a refugee from Nigeria. So I came to America at the age of 6. My family came as refugees. We were sponsored by a church to be here. Went to school, made good grades, found out the whole system and everything. Was working a 9 to 5, found out that wasn't the thing for me. I truly was one of those people who would go to work just to look for another job that paid me 50 cents more. Go to work,
Right.
look for another job that pays me 50 cents more. And one day I ran into a gentleman. He was doing Herbalife at the time, and he was sharing with me that he's an entrepreneur. And I never really knew anything about entrepreneurship. I was just more of someone working for those good companies like Liberty Mutual, State Farm, and things like that. And one day he had a meeting, and he said, "You want to come to it?" And it was about taxes. And I went, and he was like, "Look, you're a fast learner. You caught on real quick. Do you want to go ahead and give up your job and run my tax company in another state?" And I just left my job, became a tax professional, learned the industry, but then also saw what was missing inside of the community, realized that a lot of people don't understand how to manage money, their finances. And then I also realized that with not only doing taxes, I was able to serve the community, help people really be able to supplement their income, and teach entrepreneurs to workers how to scale their income, earn residual income, passive income, and leverage income in the process.
That's good.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Some
It
things
is.
in common, right?
And that
A
is
lot of
an
things in
amazing
common.
story. So what part of Nigeria were you from?
I'm from Port Harcourt, Rivers, Nigeria.
Okay.
What side is that?
Yes.
That's
Side is that east, west, northern?
Oh, we west.
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 Oh.
Okay.
West
All right.
side.
That's amazing. Again, I have just an array of guests on the show today. And again, we are all in alignment because listening to you guys' stories, you all took a chance and you bet on you.
Yeah.
That is true.
For sure.
Definitely.
Every one of you took a chance and you
Yeah.
bet on you.
That's it.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I love doing on this show, I love featuring entrepreneurs, content creators,
Wow.
you know, everyone that took a chance and bet on them. Because one thing I find, it is so easy to clock into a job and get paid every 2 weeks.
It
Yes.
is.
But to step out on faith and pursue your passion, pursue your purpose, pursue your creativity, what God has called you to do, you guys are faith walkers.
What's that?
Amen.
Mhm.
Because out there in the entrepreneurship world, you have to hold yourself accountable. No one's standing over you telling you what to do. No one's holding your hands, guiding you.
Ooh.
It has to be within you. So again, as the faith walkers, as the people that have bet on you, I applaud each and every one of you because it's a journey.
And we
Sometimes
applaud you too. for
Yeah,
having
it's like
us.
being not only a faith walker, you're like a tightrope walker. And
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
without a net, you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes your community happens to be your net, you know what I mean? And so just a lot of the reason why I think some of us are here are Xander, like, right?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
like part of,
Legitimately.
that's part of the
Clap it
community.
up.
That's part of the-
Shout out to Xander.
X
Shout out to
Captures that is in the building.
crazy.
He is a connector of so many people,
Yes.
and he is amazing at what he does.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Put him in anywhere. He never met a stranger, and he can take some amazing pictures and video and content.
Oh my God.
Yes,
So
he can.
again, I'm so glad God aligned me with you, because through this alignment, we are bringing in other entrepreneurs that we can all connect and work together.
Absolutely.
And network.
And that's what community is all about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
good. We're building an ecosystem of different backgrounds, but all coming together with our purpose. So, have a purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, what my main question that I like to ask my viewers or my guests for coming on the show. So, people know you by your name. They know you by your business, but what they don't know is the why behind why you started. What they don't know is the struggles that it took to get you where you're at.
Correct.
What they don't know is the blood, sweat, the tears, the negative bank account, the not knowing how you're going to pay your bills from day to day. They don't know that. They see you and they see your success, and they hear me reading these bios, and I think, wow, God, they got it together. But they don't know what it took to get here. So what I want to do is go around the room. I want to give you guys the opportunity to share your why behind why you started your business and why you decided to do what you did. Okay? So we'll start over here with Mr.
Dunabari.
Dunabari.
Call me Dooney. Everybody call me Dooney.
With Mr. Dooney.
Dooney.
Come on, Dooney.
Hey.
Come on, Dooney. Dooney.
So my wise family. I'll always tell everyone that because, like I said, I am a refugee from Nigeria. I know what it's like for my mom coming into a new country, trying to provide for her kids, and I'm her oldest. So with it, I saw my mom struggle with language barrier, with education, and I realized, with this opportunity from where I am, family is a huge, huge part of our community, part of our culture. So once I got into this world of working a job and figuring out entrepreneurship, I realized that it was bigger than just me, because we are the first ones in our family to ever step on American soil. So when we talk about generational wealth, when we talk about legacy, who's going to do it? And it's not the fact that I was better than anyone else. It's just the fact that it's your time. And when it's your time, it's your turn. And with that, I basically pursue pushing the mark as far as possible, because now it's like my brothers, my sisters, they literally see like the sky's the limit. If he can do it, we can too. And to watch them be able to come behind me and push further than I did is just amazing. So with that, I always say family is the core to my heart, and that is why I do what I do.
All right. That's amazing. I applaud you for that.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. All right. We'll get into talking to you, Mr. Kevin. Tell us a little bit. I see girl dad on the shirt.
Yeah.
Look, does that say it all?
I didn't get the memo that it was a show about purpose, but I am a girl dad. My daughter, Avery, 6 years old. And
wow.
But she wasn't even thought of when I started entrepreneurship. Like you mentioned earlier, I spent 16 years in corporate America. So stocks, bonds, mutual funds, private equity. But my business started on accident. We were just on vacation, hanging out with some friends, posted some pictures online. The pictures went viral. My friends contacted me saying, hey, we want to go camping next time you go. Long story short, my lifestyle became my business. I traveled anyway. I was already traveling to Dubai, South Africa, Ghana, Thailand, all these different places.
That's what's fantastic.
People wanted to travel with me. I said, sure, why not? So my path wasn't necessarily getting it out the mud. I already had a substantial income coming in from corporate America. I leveraged that income to start my business. So I was, corporate during the day, suit and tie, and then hanging out at night. And I did that up until I couldn't, 50 hours a week at work, 30, 40 hours a week being an entrepreneur. You get tired, you get exhausted, you're not eating right, you're not taking care of yourself. So eventually at some point, something has to give. What I was making as an entrepreneur was significantly less than what I was making up here, but I can live on this.
Yeah.
I was definitely living on this, but I could live on this, but only answer to myself. So I decided to live on this. And I knew if I gave myself a few more hours a week, I can get back to there. That didn't take long. And then, so the story went. I told my mom, as I was driving over the Colorado River from Austin, in Austin at the time, and she said, oh, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but I'm going to come check on you tomorrow. And she thought that I was just throwing away my whole college career, my whole corporate career, just to go travel the world and kick it. And she was right, I was, but she didn't know the math behind
Right.
the success of what was already happening 4 or 5 years before I decided to leave the corporate space. That's not to say I haven't had my ups and downs, trials and tribulations. There are still scary moments. The economy does what it does. COVID hit. I had to give out $300,000 of returns because you're not traveling. I have a travel business. But that ended up being more of a blessing and a vacation for me. Took that time off. I still, as a financial advisor, I still had money. Like, you know what I mean? Right. But here we are, and we've grown from there. We've bought some land, bought some real estate. Now I'm able to host my events on property that I own in East Texas, and here we are.
I love that. That's amazing. It's an amazing story. And kudos to you. I know in your bio you talked a little bit about how being military and how you traveled so much and meeting people. You know what I realized, again, we're all connected. Have you realized that from just meeting people?
For sure. With my mom being in the Army for 22 years, I had to deal with leaving, traveling. Every 3 to 4 years, I'm going to different places, different high schools. But, you learn to assimilate to your environment. You learn to make friends easy. And you just learn, and truth be told, I think it's easier for boys, young men to make friends. We can go to the basketball court, have 10 new friends in 5 minutes. Right. We're not as territorial. Right. When it comes to our friendships, and being an athlete, you could just jump into a friendship, cool, move to a different place, make some new friends. You just learn to value people. And as an only child without having siblings, my friends were always my family. So you just create your own family wherever you go.
I love that.
That's
Creating
good.
a community. Wow, great story. All right, Mr. Jose.
Let's go. So my why is completely, I don't know, it's a long story, but I don't want to tell a long story, right? Because we have so many people here. So I kind of want to pretty much sum it up. So my why is actually like a lot deeper than what it looks. You never know. It's like sometimes the shallow water looks like shallow, but when you get into it, it's pretty deep. It's pretty much my life story. So I grew up not like a refugee. So like when you look at things different, so it's kind of hard. But like when you look at it on America aspect, I grew up from a small town. I'm from Port Arthur, Texas, which is Southeast Texas, and not a lot out there unless you want to get into like refinery work, construction work. That's all you do. That's really it. But growing up, grew up like, had a stepdad, thought he was my dad, but he wasn't my dad because he had the same name as me. Just apparently a lot of Mexicans have the same name. Jose. No, I'm joking. But no, so my story is like growing up in a struggle, seeing what life is like and understanding what life is like. My whole backstory is just completely insane. Like, I thought I was grown by the time I was 12. So it was like, I don't know, like you couldn't tell me nothing, like, cause I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. Like by the age of 12, I was grown. I was already like, mom in and out of jail, in and out of prison. We didn't tell nobody because that's what we were told to do, right? We're like, hey, don't tell nobody your mom's in jail. She's in jail for 3 weeks. What are y'all gonna do for yourself? No one's coming to check on us sometimes. So, so I know what it's like to not have nothing. I know what it's like to not have water, not have hot water, not have food. Like one time during hurricane, like we ended up staying because we didn't evacuate. But like me and my sister, we legit fist fought over a can of Beanie Weenies. Talking about hard down fighting. Like I'm gonna eat, you gonna eat. We gonna fight for this though.
Wow.
So I know what it's like coming from nothing and then working my way up to where I was and working how I am now. I understand how it is to present yourself because how I was previously, I would like to call it inner city. I was very hood or whatever you want to call it. Just growing up from there and then got into the financial world by working in banking when I first started. And then I seen how that like there's a different kind of life instead of just like construction work. However, things do fall because like my friends like, hey, Jose, your hands are soft. You ain't working for real. I'm like, what are you talking about? I am working. I'm making money. But then all of a sudden, the Wells Fargo situation happened all those years back, and I was working for Wells Fargo. Ended up leaving, and then I got into like the blue collar world where I started working construction, and then just most recently I was working on offshore oil rigs. Best job I ever had.
Really?
But I got married.
Okay.
That's even a better job.
Yeah.
So it started getting hard for me to watch my wife watch me leave, if that makes sense for anybody. I was okay with leaving just because the way that I grew up, but it started getting hard watching my wife watch me leave because she'll always be sad and there's nothing I can do. I'm like, flying out of Homa every other month. And then like, on top of that, I'm like 100 miles away in in the middle of the ocean, like calling me, telling you missing me, but you're like, I don't know how far away you are. Like you're like 600 miles and 200 of that is by water. Like, what do you want me to do? Swim? So we started talking about it and we prayed about it. Like with everything that we do, we pray before we make any decision. Just recently just left the HVAC community pretty much. So I was doing like sheet metal work, and then we prayed about it and we started the business. She said that the answer that I gave her was something that she told God that I need to give her directly. And it was like a verbatim sentence. So again, everyone has a purpose and everything's faith rooted. So we pray about every decision. So my decision and my why is really because I've been there and I know what it's like to have nothing. And I know like the strategy and the techniques that I have are able to help anyone and everyone to become financially free, financially stable, financially secure. And that's my why. That's why I do what I do. That's why I continue to go with what I'm going with. And that's why I'm just going to keep on pushing through until I can actually reach 72% of Americans who live paycheck to paycheck, to get them, let them know that they don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And there's no reason why you should. You just need a strategy, but no one teaches you that.
Right. I love everything that you said.
There's like 3 people in the financial literacy.
Financial literacy. I like you guys are all sharing with that. So again, connection.
Yes.
I love it. I love everything that you said about really having to go through those struggles to get you to where you are today. And I applaud you for that. I think that's amazing that you didn't give up. You could have easily just said, okay, prison is where I'm going.
That's
because
funny.
I know the street life. I know the hard life. I know that type of environment. But you didn't give up. You kept pursuing. You kept going. God kept working with you. He kept working through you. And everything that you're doing is happening for a reason. And the purpose that you're doing on this show today, telling somebody about how financial literacy can help them. Because for me, a lot of people in the minorities and in the Black and brown culture, no one ever educated us about financial literacy. We are living in times where it's about getting the check and paying bills and just making our ends meet. A lot of the times that's what the struggles were that we had to grow up with. Nobody sat us down and talked about financial literacy and saving and investing. I didn't hear those stories. I'm not going to say all, but it's majority in the Black and brown community. So I love it that that's the road you're going, that's the road you're going, and that's the road you're going to educate us. And we're going to continue to do so. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. King.
Yes.
Tell us the why behind your story.
Yes. It's interesting. I talk a lot about this on my podcast. My podcast has 2 layers to it. One is me talking to myself about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then going out into the field and talking to other creators, entrepreneurs, and entertainers about what they do as well. So it's all very purpose driven. So I'll rewind back to 2019. That was a very tough time for me in my life, where I was asking myself a lot of very thought-provoking questions. Like, why am I here? What am I doing, in this wheel, this hamster wheel of a life? And I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over. And so I started to notice a pattern. And I began to ask a lot of questions about, why do I keep going into all of these jobs in these different corporations, and I find myself in a very similar situation, just a higher level. I saw a very consistent pattern when I look back at the blueprint of my career. And so essentially I was very bored. I felt like, this is the analogy I have of chewing gum and it lost its flavor after a while. And so I wanted a new piece of gum. I wanted a new flavor.
Yeah, some flavor to that.
So I really started to look inward and ask myself these questions. And so now I have a philosophy that we're all on this path of self-discovery, self-development, and self-mastery. It's a continuous cycle. And so we'll probably always be asking ourselves these questions about where we are and where we want to go. So when I asked the questions, I started to have very specific dreams. And all of the dreams were people of influence with a microphone in their hands. And I had a very clear vision of me standing on a stage, addressing an audience with a light shining from behind them towards me. And I couldn't see the audience at that time. Over time, I'm starting to realize the audience is other people like me who are on the path to self-mastery, practicing communication skills through podcasting, public speaking, and creating. So being able to find and identify my purpose, that has been a journey. I was 34 at the time when I had those dreams. And ever since that, I felt like every action needed to be practiced toward realizing my full potential, and that's to help other people.
I love that.
Yes.
And I love the fact how you talked about the dreams. So basically, you're turning your dreams into reality.
Into a reality. There's
a full
nothing that's going to
reality.
stop me from doing it either.
Right.
The philosophy that I have is you must be prepared to go down with the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So if you create the ship and there's a hole in it, you have to be prepared to go down with the ship. Hold on to it as long as you possibly can, because there could be a lifeboat to come by and help you, meaning community supporting each other and things like that. But you have to be prepared to go down with the ship. So
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing.
determination, in other words. Yeah.
Look, we all like,
Yeah, it's good.
awesome. And listen, viewers, I hope y'all catching these gems. It's so many gems being dropped by every person that's on the show that can inspire you, that can motivate you to want to do more. And if you are out there and you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, they're doing it. It's not going to be pretty, but again, it's not easy, but you can make it and you can do it. So again, one of the reasons why I have this show and why I do this is because if I can impact even one viewer that listens to these stories and hears this message, and you go out and you bet on you and you start walking in your purpose that God gave you, you can do it. So that's why I do it. All right. Miss Fairy, Trap Fairy girl, tell us about all your businesses and your why behind what you do, and don't be shy and nervous. And I wanted to say you're looking beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
You're looking amazing. So
Okay, so I want to first say I have always been the Black awakened duck in my family. Like I've always seek knowledge, because they don't. I'm not going to downplay my family, but I will be honest. My family doesn't own anything. If any of them passed away today, there would be no trace of them on earth. Like nobody would ever know them. They would never know any of us or our names or any of the reasons we were here, the purpose we were here for. And I feel like I've come all the way to Texas from Maryland. I drove out here last year. And ever since I've been here, I've been on a spiritual journey of why I separated myself away from my family for so long and for so far. And it's because I had to focus in on what we needed as a unit. Like a lot of the men in my family have been incarcerated. They haven't built anything for us to settle on. So I want to make that foundation. And I've already started with the businesses. In about a month or two, I'm going to be able to put my mother on payroll. That's something new for me. It's
Love it.
that's big.
something that's scary for sure, because nobody in my family has done that to that magnitude. And she tells me she's extremely proud. I feel a lot of pressure, but I also feel like I'm finally stepping into what my purpose is for my family. A lot of the reasons there was dysfunction is because we didn't have resources. We don't have money. We don't have access to things we need. And I plan on being that source, like at least starting that here, because I have nephews, they're young, and I don't want them to have to try to figure it out like we did. I want things to be laid for them. So I feel like that's what my reasoning is for my family, of course, but to set some foundation for the family so we could thrive together. So I do own a car rental fleet. I do credit repair on the side. So I'd like to speak to you. And we
I got connections being made around here. I love it.
Anybody in here, honestly, I just want to connect with people. I'm fairly new to the entrepreneurship world. I ask Kevin questions all the time. I'm always around Xander because, as y'all can see, I'm slightly nervous, but I have to get over this if I'm going to pursue this type of thing. So I just really want to create generational wealth for my family the proper way. So that's my reasoning.
And it's
Talking about.
Yeah.
It is not want. You are.
Oh,
Yeah,
I am.
that's
Yes,
true. It's
I
a
am.
current.
It's a current. It's something you're doing now.
It
You're
almost
the
feels
trailblazer.
surreal.
It feels surreal,
Yes, it
but
does.
you're being the trailblazer for your family, and they will follow suit to your leadership, to your journey that you're journeying to make sure that you're setting that generational wealth for your family. So I love that. And don't say that you're trying, because you are.
Just change the verbiage.
Change the verbiage. I am.
I am.
Walk by faith, not by sight.
I am.
Yes.
There you go.
So I love that. All right, we're going to turn it over to Mr. Victor. Thank you for joining us on the show. I did introduce you while you were not here.
And I made sure Wild Bite was pronounced correctly too.
Right. So I pronounced everything correct, and I did read through your bio. But if you would just like to give us a little bit about yourself, tell us about yourself, your background, and then we are definitely wanting to know the why behind what you do.
Absolutely. Hey guys, my name is Victor Lazardi. I started Wild Bite Films at 43, so that's how old I am right now. Just a few months ago, I went through film school, graduated, and started Wild Bite Films LLC. Already have a short film out called Here for a Good Time. You can find it on YouTube. Here for a Good Time, Cross Forward Films is the easy way to find it, or you can just go to Wild Bite Films page on YouTube. And my journey kind of started... How about this? Let me tell you my why. Let me start there.
Okay.
And I think it's important that I start there so that people understand what drives you to be successful and get. Can I say a small cuss word?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get shit done.
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep it real. I just don't know what I can say on here. Bleep. So my whole entire life, I dealt with people saying what I can't do. And unfortunately, we live in a very loud world that the voices that say can't are a lot of times louder than the voices that say can. Mm-hmm. So you have to create that inner voice. If it ain't there, then you're gonna be part of that can't crew. If you create that inner voice that says can, and you stay focused on your can, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get there. And every single time that I did that and put God first in everything that I did, it manifested itself. It came into fruition. It became something physical that I could touch. And that led me to work with Ringling Brothers Circus. I got to travel all around the United States. I went to Mexico. I mean, I did a lot of fun stuff in my early 20s, late 30s, at that age, after hearing so many years of can't, went through a divorce of can't, that once I separated all that noise and said, you know what, I can, and I'm just going to get it done, and I'm going to do it, I set myself on that path. That's opened up doors time and time again. I'm going to Vid Summit this year. This is my 3rd year going, volunteered twice already. Volunteers, have access to certain things. And what I learned early on was by reading books and finding those mentors that have done shit, have gotten shit done, and having that kind of mentality of, you know what, how do I solve this problem? Because that's all it is how do you solve a problem? What's the problem? Let's solve it. Not, oh my God, this is the problem, I can't fix it. If you keep verbalizing can't, you're never going to get there. But once you have a firm belief, just like it isn't a firm belief in your God, whatever you think God is, me, God Almighty, Allah, not Allah, Yeshua, but whatever your God is, you know what I'm saying? If you have a strong belief that there is a God, 9 times out of 10, that same belief, if you apply it into business, you're going to get stuff done. You just have to have that strong faith that you're going to get it done. And there's going to be times that suck. That's part of the learning process. That's how you start to build yourself up and get to where you're going, where you want to get to. I'm 43 right now. People told me I couldn't do this. Guess what? I've done it. I'm still doing it. Time and time again. Prove them wrong. If it wasn't for that belief, that strong belief of I can, I wouldn't have gotten to go to Mexico and see the pyramids. I wouldn't have gotten to travel all over the country. I wouldn't have got to work with tigers. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to do if I believe them. But instead of that, I bet on me. I believed in me. And that's how we got here.
Yes. I love it.
Storytelling.
Listen, and
Couch Brothers.
one of the things I love what you said is it's shifting your mindset to I can instead of putting I can't. So
Right.
I can mentality, you can do anything. And we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
That's right.
That's how I look at it. So again, we all have a purpose. We're all here to serve a purpose. We're all here to go out into the world and be great. So let's do that.
That's right.
So one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to go around the room again because I know there's still some stories and things that I can pull at you.
Let's go.
I'm gonna pull a few little stories out. Time is ticking down, but I do want to pull out.
I'm an open book. Just ask anything.
I'm gonna pull out a few stories. I always ask this question on my show, and it's really thought provoking. If you could go back to when you were 18, what would you tell yourself?
I'll take this one first because it's super easy. I'm gonna just be real with everybody. If I was to go tell myself when I was 18, it wouldn't matter what I said because I wouldn't listen. And that's the truth. Like, I know how I was back then. I know how I was growing up. No one could tell me anything at that point because, again, when I was young, I had to be the man of the house. I had to do this. I had to deal with, like, a lot. So, like, no one could tell me anything, like, at all. Just to bring it back, I was, like, maybe, like, 12 or 13. Stayed the night at a friend's house for, like, the weekend. And when I came back home, like, my mom or my sister wasn't there. And I stayed at home for, like, a week by myself, or 2 weeks, pretty much. And then I ended up calling my cousin. I was like, hey, I need to wash my clothes, and I'm kind of hungry. Can I come stay over there for a little bit? She was like, where your mom at? I was like, I don't know. Come to find out, my mom already moved at somebody else's house or something like that. So by that time, I was just bouncing from family member to family member. And then by the age of 18, no one could tell me anything because it was just me. It's been me the whole time. So it's just like, that's how it felt. So I felt like the black sheep too, growing up, because I felt like truly I truly felt like no one really wanted me around. Or if they did want me around, it's because like what happens or what they get when I come with them, pretty much. Because, you know, back in the 90s, everybody got put on like these checks or whatever, like this income or whatever they'll come in. So if I felt like if I went to people's houses because they wanted the money that I was getting every month. So truly, it felt like no one wanted me. By the age 18, no one could tell me anything because I was doing what I wanted to do. But thank God for church. Thank God for God, because I found God at 15 for the first time in my life. And it took me like another 18 years, like 33 that I am now, to get to where I'm at. So shout out to God. Just hold on.
Amen.
Hold on.
But I know for a fact that 18, not anyone, not even me, could tell me anything. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kevin.
At 18, I was a freshman in college, University of Texas in Austin, living in a one-bedroom apartment. What I would tell myself then, I would probably just read more. I think a lot of the relationships I made, I know the relationships I made then are still present today. You know, my daughter's godfather is a friend and frat brother that I made in college. Several of my business partners right now are friends that I made in college. I'm 46 years old, so that's a lot of years. You know, I graduated in 2001, so that's a lot of college in 2001. So that's a lot of years ago, and I'm still friends with 99% of those people that I met back then, that I made in student government, Kappa Alpha Psi, all the organizations that I was a part of. So I would have just read more. I would have been more strategic. Growing up with a single parent mom, some of the wisdom that your grandparents or great grandparents would have given you wasn't necessarily there. You know what I mean? So books that I read later, I was like, man, if I knew that 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have got fired from one job or another, you know, just by learning how to build your network a little different. But, outside of telling myself a few lottery numbers and what to invest in, now that I know the Google and all the other, cheat codes, but I would have just read more. That'd have been it. But 18 years old, I was in college.
Okay. All right. Love that.
Okay. So 18, I was still in New Orleans. And this was before Hurricane Katrina. I'm trying to pull myself back there. But 18, I would whisper in my own ear, pick up a camera and start playing around with creating content, start falling in love with photography, start getting creative in general. Because at that time, and until I would turn 34, I didn't consider myself creative at all, believe it or not. Can you imagine living 34 years and not seeing yourself as a creative individual, even though I was extremely creative, especially with the way I put myself together in fashion everything about me, my interior design tastes, very creative, but I didn't identify with that word.
Wow, that's
And
my
so,
first time hearing
yeah,
that.
it's interesting because my podcast studio, I have a backdrop and it's all paintbrushes hanging with splashes of paint all over it. And so that implies creativity goes beyond a paintbrush and a canvas. That's what that means to me.
That's dope.
So I would give myself a chicken nugget and say, get creative, identify as a creative, because you would start to grow a little bit faster. And then I would also give myself another chicken nugget that I would have a burning desire to keep inspiring new generations. That's what King stands for, to keep inspiring new generations of artists, entrepreneurs, creators, and podcasters like myself.
I like that.
Yes.
Yes, that's creative within
Creative,
itself.
Yeah.
creativity.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Miss Perry.
Okay, so I would tell her, don't reject yourself like your father did. And one of the reasons I would tell her that is because it kind of set her up for failure in her 20s, because since she couldn't get accepted by him, she literally couldn't accept herself anywhere else. And whenever people said things remotely close to whatever it looked like with him, she would just take a back seat and allow it to happen. And then that caused a lot of damage. So I would tell her, you know, it's absolutely okay that you just had your mom, but don't reject yourself and don't let it consume you that your father's not here, because it does trickle down into other aspects of your life. And even now, like talking to you guys and just realizing that I take a back seat a lot and I don't want to. So I'm still working on it. And that's one of the things the main thing I would tell her, because she didn't deserve it. So
You're in the front seat today.
Let's go.
Right.
Got you in the
It's
front
right.
seat.
Trailblazer.
It's all good.
Trailblazer.
Thank
Making
you.
it happen.
Just keep
So,
on pushing.
Absolutely.
You're in 3 front seats.
Right.
Car fleet going.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we're listening in here.
Yeah.
I know you
Like,
are.
yeah.
And I appreciate the positive energy, you guys. Like
The good vibes.
The good vibes. Good vibes.
I've
We're
really
just
been
slinging it.
out here, and I've really been out here in Texas pushing myself. So this extra energy is needed for sure. I thank you.
Yes.
I really do.
Awesome. All right. I
You
love
curated this good energy.
You did.
Yeah, let's
You
go.
set the expectation at the
No,
very
wait, we don't clap.
beginning, and
We
I
just
love
do
it.
this.
We do this.
Thank
for
you.
We do
God.
this for
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
We clocking
Yes.
it.
Yes.
My niece is
Back
teaching me
in.
things.
Yeah, this is the new thing.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wait, side note, we had a little discussion about this last night. Is it
It's
these
this.
2 fingers or these 2
It's
fingers?
really
Is it this?
It's really
Or was it the middle
Is
finger?
this was
really
the,
this?
This
Oh
was
my
this
God.
was
Oh,
a debate
it's
last
okay,
night.
it is this.
I have no idea what it is.
I thought it was this.
It's like
Now
clapping
it's
softly.
Yeah, I want to get this solved today.
solved.
I feel
Okay,
like-
so we solved it. It's this.
I feel like
in
if you
the
do
comment
this-
section,
It
let us
started
know.
off
Is it
like
index
this.
finger,
I
middle
think
finger?
it's the middle finger. It's very
No.
demure, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
how
that.
it
It seems like this is more like demanding.
This
This
I'm just doing
This finger
we
seems-
gotta ask the kids. I'm snapping. You know, we used to snap back in the day.
back in the day.
Snapping.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I know that's
Can we just clap for
comment section. We need to figure this out.
Yes, somebody
This or that.
let us
Somebody-
know.
Is it this or this?
Yeah.
Look,
Come
young
on, Chad.
generation, let us know, what's going on out there. Because is it
Keep us
middle?
right.
Is it this? Is it this? Is it
I'll have
snapping?
the
We
What
got
are
some
we
old
doing?
folks at the table.
I'll have
Okay.
the answer when I get home. I'm asking my niece.
All right. Yes, there you go. That part. All right, Mr. Victor.
Well, hello.
Hello. Again, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? What advice would you give?
I would probably say, hey, first, wake the fuck up. 2, stop focusing on yesterday. It don't exist anymore.
Mm.
Focus on today.
Yeah.
That's the present. Tomorrow's not promised to you.
Present moment. Mhm.
So live in today.
Yes.
And if tomorrow does come, great. Day before don't exist no more.
Mm.
This is the moment.
Yes.
Stop. Go.
Gotcha.
All right. Straight to the
That's what I'm
point.
talking about.
Straight.
Straight to it, ain't he?
Let's go.
Keep it simple, stupid.
All right, Dooney.
For mine, I say be you to the fullest. At the age of 18, that's college, first years. I feel like a lot of us, especially when we go out of high school, that's when your friends and your whole life starts changing, and you get into that world of what am I going to do next? What am I going to pursue? And a lot of times we are who we are around. And for me being, from a different country, I've always came to America adjusting to everyone else. And at the whole time, it's like no one tries to adjust to you. And now it's like, look at it. Everyone's listening to African music. Everybody wants to eat African food. That's right. Everybody wants to find out where they're from. So at the age of 18, I'd say my favorite thing to tell people is be beautiful, be you to the fullest, and really believe in creating your own way instead of trying to follow everyone else. Because at the end of the day, when everybody else leaves, who are you going to be when you're left alone?
That's right.
My God.
Listen, crazy.
My God, today.
Amazing.
Listen, we gonna have to do a part 2. I'm just gonna keep it real. We got to get a part 2 in. The synergy, the energy in this room is. I know it's hot, but it's more than that. It's like I don't know, a good vibe.
Yeah, it's a purpose.
It's a good vibe.
Kumbaya.
It's kumbaya. Like we all connecting. We all like joining. We came here as strangers, but we're leaving here as family.
Yes, we are.
Ain't that something?
That's how it's supposed to be.
You don't know this,
family.
but I actually submitted the form to be on this show, and it came full circle because he was the one who was supposed to be on this show, but he invited me to come today.
Wow.
So this is all a coincidence that I'm here.
Hey.
Listen.
It's no coincidence.
Right.
It's our purpose.
Yeah.
It's our
The
purpose.
synchronicity of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love that. I want to thank you all for coming on the show. And again, we definitely will do a part 2 where we can kind of break down and dive into your industries, where we can start giving some tips of what we can do to build financial, wealth, what we can do to tap into our creativity, what we can do to make sure we're going out there being our authentic self and being the trailblazer that you are, Miss Ferry.
Yes, ma'am.
What we can do. We're going to give tips to our viewers so they know what they can do to make that happen. So I want to thank you all for coming on the show. It has been amazing. And again, part 2, another episode of the Good Vibes by Slang.
Yeah, we get a part 2
with no bias.
Where's the after party?
Thank you.